It is time for our NFL draft profile breakdown of baby Gronk himself. Michael Mayer, the tight end out of Notre Dame, my guy as a Notre Dame fan, and could continue to be my guy as a possible suitor for the Dallas Cowboys at 26. Mayer had 67 receptions for 809 yards and 9 touchdowns in the 2022 season. Aidan, I mean, this kid has been a freak since his freshman year when he was called Baby Gronk. He is a reliable tight end. Many are saying he is the next Jason Witten, which for some reason is making some Cowboys fans not want him. I think that is the younger core of fans that just remember Jason Witten at the tail end of his career as an old guy. But people forget how good of a damn player Jason Witten was for 15 years for the Dallas Cowboys. And that could be Michael Mayer moving forward.
Yeah, this is your guy. You're a Notre Dame fan and a Cowboys fan, and the stars may align that you may be getting their tight end there at pick 26 in the NFL draft coming up in a few days. I think this is a great prospect to watch because sometimes we start to overthink it the more time that we watch somebody. Like you said, he's been called Baby Gronk since he was a freshman there at Notre Dame, and then all of a sudden it gets to the time where you can actually draft him in the NFL draft, and we're saying to ourselves, well, is it Dalton Kincaid? Is it Darnell Washington, the backup tight end at Georgia? And then all of a sudden we're like, whoa, let's not overthink this. Michael Mayer has been great for quite some time. So we'll get into the tape here, but it's good to just watch and be like, oh yeah, this is why we've been hype about this guy since literally he was a freshman.
Yeah, it's one of those keep it simple, stupid things, right? Yeah. I mean, he's 6'4" and a half, 250 pounds. Yes, he ran a 470. It was, not the fastest, but he's not going to be that, Dalton Kincaid type guy. He's not going to be those speedster tight ends. He is going to be your reliable all-around player. He is a great blocker. He is a amazing pass catcher. He's that inline tight end, right? Mm-hmm. I was reading his profile, and everyone is, like I said earlier, comparing him to Jason Witten. It is everything that the Dallas Cowboys say they want to do, right? Run the ball more. They lost Dalton Schultz, who was Dak's security blanket. Dalton Schultz. That's who Michael Mayer will be, and I think will be better than Dalton Schultz. You can see this. I mean, he has wiggle to him. He can get away from blockers. He is a threat in the red zone. Look at this. He was tackled 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and he brought it down to the 1 yard line from the 20-yard line. He is a baller. He is a winner. He brings all the intangibles that you need in the run game, in the pass game. I just think it would be a no-brainer at 26. I was listening to Ross Tucker on a podcast this week talking about the tight ends, talking about the fit with the Dallas Cowboys, and someone was finding him wanting more of like that Musgraves type tight end from Oregon State. And he said, yeah, but Musgraves has been injured, right? He could be that like 9-10 type prospect with his speed, his athleticism, but he could also be a 2 or a 3 where Michael Mayer's an 8. Get the 8, and he has the potential to be the 9. Like, I get the boomer bust at quarterback, but tight end is just like, it's that old reliable, right? Why would you not want this type of guy on your team?
No, I was going to say he's like the prototypical tight end, and I know we're getting into more of these hybrid athlete tight ends, but this guy's been like the prototypical tight end mold for quite some time where he can catch, he can block, he can break tackles, and he can catch in traffic, and he can catch across the middle. And I think the NFL, like I said, even though starting to go away from that, is still going to fall in love with a guy like this, where you mentioned it, security blanket. Dak had the security blanket in Dalton Schultz. Well, a lot of teams have that tight end as a security blanket. This guy would be the next one. You're hitting all the words. You're like, take the 8, take the safe thing, take the guy who we know who is good. And this is that perfect example of him where it's like, we've been watching this kid for 3 years. We know that he's not the fastest tight end. He's not the most athletic tight end, but he's also like not slow, and he's not unathletic, right? Like he's
No.
just, we're just kind of over analyzing the things at this point, and we're forgetting about the qualities that he does well. A lot of the plays that you see on this highlight tape, there's someone attached to him and he still makes the catch anyway. There's a safety over the top there. That's a great throw by the quarterback too. And it's either like he's breaking out of a tackle or he's catching it in traffic. And it seems like it's really tough to get him to the ground. That's yards after the catch. Makes life on the quarterback just a little bit easier for you.
And I think everything you see here and everything that you just said says one thing to me. His skill set is going to be translatable so easily to the NFL game, right? I mean, you saw that, how he came off the pick there in the end zone. I watched every single snap of Notre Dame this season. And I'm not lying. I'm not pulling a Mike McCarthy here when he had at the press conference and said he watched every play of the Dallas Cowboys. And then he laughed at the press conference and said, that was just a lie to get through the interview. I'm not lying to you. In the beginning of the season, it was a little rough for the Irish. But what did they do? They continuously went to Gronk, to Michael Mayer, because he was the guy that they knew they could go to in crunch time situations, and he would pull through. Look at this, 3rd and 4. He takes it 18, 19 yards. Everybody said, he's going to be that guy. He's just going to be the chain mover. He's going to get you, 8 yards when you need 6. Look at this, right down the middle. That's a 40-yard play.
That looked like Gronk.
What is the problem with getting the guy that's going to get you 8-9 yards every play when it's 3rd and 6, when it's 2nd and 5? Like, don't you want the chain mover who has the potential to do that and bust one for 45 yards for a touchdown, and at the same time has the ability to sell the block like he did there, because people know that he is a good blocker as well? I just think it's just one of those, like you said, keep it simple. Why are we overthinking this? If he's there at 26, you take him.
Yep. So I'm wearing an NBA shirt, and one of the terms they always use during drafts is the guy has an NBA ready body. Mm-hmm. Does he have an NBA ready body? Well, I think Mayer has an NFL ready body, where a lot of these prospects now you're like, all right, we got to put 10 pounds on him. We got to do this for him. We got to get, we got to do something so that he is an NFL starter at this point. I think Michael Mayer would come in and just be a starter. Like, he would just look like he belonged for the past 3 years in an NFL huddle. And that is one of those other things. Like, I hate that we're making him sound like this boring accountant where he has this like he's the safe guy. He's just the safety thing. It's not really that. It's just like, he has all the skills that you really want, and we're just discrediting those because there's not a lot of flash to a lot of them.
They just showed a shovel pass for 1 yard, and he took it 12 yards. Like,
yeah, and it's like
everything
a lot
I'm
of
reading is everybody's like, oh yeah, he's just, he's more of that, possession player. He's not dynamic. Have you seen many plays in these highlights where it's just like 5-6 yards? No, I mean, multiple plays for 10, 20, 30 yards. And you know what? He knows how to get in the damn end zone too. And what are the Cowboys' problems in the recent history? They have issues in the red zone. You got to get a guy that's going to be able to sniff the end zone and knows how to get to the goal line. And Michael Mayer is that guy. First downs and touchdowns, I think they equate to winning football games. No, Aidan?
Yeah, so just create mismatches, especially in the red zone. This is like a perfect example. Like, just create mismatches. He'd be a perfect mismatch. Just one last thing on him, and this is great that they're showing a lot of red zone highlights as we're talking about this, as he drags a guy across the the goal line that he caught the ball in traffic, is probably like the best example that we could end with here. Is it's 4th and 2 in the red zone, and he catches it and drags a guy into the end zone for the touchdown. Like, that's the whole name of the game, right? Like, that's what we're looking for in prospects. So my only question for you, I know at 26, you're a Cowboys fan, Notre Dame fan, you would like this to be the pick or one of the options there. Are there any teams ahead of the Cowboys that you say to yourself, they may be in our way?
Oh, so looking at the draft order here, I mean, he does kind of give me New England sort of vibes, right? It's just because we keep calling him Gronk. I don't know, but I could see him being sort of like a New England Patriot, maybe a Tampa Bay Bucks. Here we go again. Maybe it's just the Gronk thing. Maybe a team like the New York Jets at 13 would want him to to put together with Aaron Rodgers and that young receiving core that they have. Or a team even like 2 spots ahead, Jacksonville, the Jaguars. I know that they have Evan Ingram again, but I don't think he's the long-term issue. But again, he played a lot against Trevor Lawrence in college. Now you pair him with a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence, I think that would be a problem. But it also depends on what these teams value, whether it be Dalton Kincaid being tight end one with the more of that athletic skill set that he has, that, more speed, or is it that this guy that's just going to get you first downs, is going to get you touchdowns, is going to block. So I think it really depends, but unfortunately I do see teams, but I don't think I'm going to see 2 tight ends go off the board before the Cowboys at 26. It's possible. And then the Cowboys could be stuck maybe with Darnell Washington, the backup, like you said, from Georgia. But I think in that case, I would like to go somewhere else. But I think Mayer has a chance to go off the board, but I also think he has a very good chance to be there. I've seen him. Mel Kiper has mocked him there now, his last mock. I've seen the smart money in Vegas being on Mayer to be a Cowboy at 26. So I think you have to dodge some landmines. Obviously, you have to dodge landmines for a long time waiting for 26, but I think there's a good chance that he's still there.
Yeah, and I think like we talked about, if there's one lesson to watching this tape, it's just keep it simple, stupid. Sometimes we overthink things. Let's not do it. Let's watch the tape. Let's see a guy like this and know he's probably going to be a pretty good prospect here once he gets his name called in the NFL draft.
And speaking of the NFL draft, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, Birds vs. Boys Pod, and listen to us anywhere you listen to your podcast. We will be doing a live draft show during the first round on Thursday night. You can catch me and Aidan breaking down every pick, predicting picks. Maybe we'll have a drinking game. It'll be a lot of fun. So catch that on our YouTube channel and click back and watch all of our prospect breakdowns. There will be more coming out this week, the week of the draft. We just wrapped up Jackson Smith and Jigba. We're going to be doing Nolan Smith, maybe some offensive linemen as well. But check out all of our 2023 NFL draft prospect breakdowns.